First off, Eric Holmes, The New Boy. Here's this film. It's from acclaimed director Warwick Thornton, and it centers on, it's in 1940s Australia. It's centered around this remote monastery for aboriginal children, and it's run by, quote, a renegade nun, Sister Eileen. Here's a good thing. Sister Eileen is played by Cate Blanchett, A-list actress, okay? There's a new charge, played by Aswan Reid, is delivered in the dead of night, a boy who appears to have special powers. However, the boy's spiritual life does not mesh with the mission's Christianity, and his mysterious power becomes a threat. That Sister Eileen, again played by Cate Blanchett, is faced with a choice between the traditions of her faith and the truth that the boy embodies. So this spiritual struggle serves as the heart and soul of The New Boy. By the way, The New Boy was released back in 2023 internationally, or maybe different states, Australia, who knows, maybe in New Zealand, who knows where. It has 2023 as a release date. But for the purposes of the US, it hits theaters May 23rd, again, directed and written by Warwick Thornton. As of this recording, it has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 74%. Eric Holmes, it sounds like a very interesting story. Does The New Boy pull it off?
First of all, it's got that opening title card of back in was 1940s Australia.
Sure.
They would take Aboriginal black children and try to. Oh, where did we hear about that before? There was another movie that did almost that exact same title card about basically
The
genocide
Mugai?
through eugenics. Yeah.
Yeah, the Mugai from a couple weeks
There
ago,
you
maybe
go.
last week. Yeah.
And then this one does that same thing, but then tells a completely different story. This is the second movie in like a month that I've seen that brings up that title card. I'm like, oh, this seems interesting. Let's hear about this. And then nothing really. This one goes a little more into it than the Mugai does. A lot of the stuff that you mentioned, I thought was spoilers, but I guess not. Although this movie's pretty slow. So like most of the interesting stuff kind of happens in the back half anyway, which is most of the stuff that you mentioned. But since you mentioned it, I guess I can too, because I was struggling to figure out what to even talk about in this movie. Because like the first half, they find that black kid, but he's got like blonde hair. Actually, similar to Lose the Flower of Evil, where the guy grabs the kid that he think is the second coming of Christ. He's a Mexican kid with blonde hair, except this one's a black kid with blonde hair. Same kind of idea. But yeah, he's got like when he goes to sleep at night, he can conjure up like a little light thing from his hand. Looks like maybe like a little tiny fairy or something like that. And it has like healing properties. The best part of this movie, and the only thing really worth talking about, is the stuff that happens at the very end. And he can't do that without doing spoilers. I will say that it pays off some stuff and even the stuff that it brings up in the opening titles about the genocide through eugenics. There's like, not exactly that, but there's like themes of something else going on. And I thought they were going to go a different direction. I was worried they were going to go that different direction. They went somewhere else. So I picked up a lot and got a lot from that ending. Unfortunately, everything leading up to the ending, there's not a whole lot there. It's like about an hour and a half without the end credits.
Cate Blanchett, does she do anything? Meaning, does she elevate the project because she's an A-list actress? Did that help with you're saying not much happens, but did having her help maybe, or elevate it, or not?
There's not much going on. So like there's an hour and a half of movie, and most of this probably could have been condensed down into a half hour. Because they gotta have like long shots of nothing happening. There's some interesting stuff happening here and there, but it's just not enough meat on the bone until the end, and then think of it as a tomahawk steak. You got this long bone with nothing on it, and then right when you get to the end of that bone, bam, there's a steak right there. But probably trim the rest of that bone off and just take the steak. I don't know why you would need that bone, but yeah, this is a real strange one. I do appreciate that it addresses that opening title card of the Aboriginal, like the black people in Australia, basically trying to be phased out, or what would you call it?
Eradicated, maybe. Yeah, it's like phased out.
It's weird because the way they describe it, they're not like
assimilated into the culture, into the Christianity. Is that sort of the symbol?
Yeah, assimilation is definitely part of it, and definitely has to do with the main kid and what happens to him. And then But like the way they describe it, they're not like, it's not like in Nazi Germany where they were murdering them. They're trying to breed them out.
Got it.
Not that makes it better. It's weirder actually, but again, this is the second movie that has brought that up in the opening title card. I wonder if that's just like, I wonder if that story's just been done to death and I haven't seen those movies before. But I'm really interested to see what that movie is and what that whole thing is about. And this is the second movie I've seen that they bring it up and don't address it too much, really. They bring it up and then use that as a jumping off point to tell a different story. So I wonder how many more of those movies are we going to see that has this exact same, like in 1940s Australia, black people were bred out of aboriginal children and this and that. And then the whole hour and a half is Superman and Batman punching each other.
Okay,
I don't know what this has to do with that opening title card, but that seems to be a new trend.
So that is The New Boy, again in theaters May 23rd, Friday, May 23rd, directed and written by Warwick Thornton. Eric Holmes, what is your rating for The New Boy?
I'll give it 3 stars just because I really enjoyed the ending. But that's like, that end is really all this movie has. It's like everything leading up to it almost makes the rest of the movie worth it. But this should have been a half hour short. It would have been an excellent half hour short.
Okay, so that is The New Boy, reviewed by Eric Holmes.